Was there any kayfabe explanation ever given on how Fritz Von Erich went from being an evil Nazi wrestler to a good old boy Texan who promoted wrestling?
You know, that's a good question. Because it was so long ago that, I mean, the TV obviously doesn't exist. Program collections are sparse. I'm trying to think. It would have been, what, early or mid-'60s? Well, actually, not even that. Very early 60s when Fritz moved and settled in Dallas permanently, right?
Yes.
With the kids.
When did he turn babyface?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It still would have been another few years that he ran as a heel, but wasn't he a babyface by the late 60s when they drew that ballpark crowd with him and Kaniski?
Well, I was going to say, I actually have the photo of the contract signing in the ring at the Sportatorium of Kaniski and Fritz, and it's interesting because Waldo's there. Waldo's like on Fritz's side, behind him as he signs it. So he still had his phony Nazi brother by that point. And obviously, they were talking about phony Nazi brother. They're talking about, what was it? Cousin Lance was technically the phony Nazi son of the phony Nazi brother.
Well, here's the thing. While the people did not, I believe, were not made aware, certainly, of when Fritz bought into the booking office and kind of became an owner, the fact that he played for Southern Methodist University football, even though it had been in the late 40s and early 50s, there were some people around there who were going to know who he was. And I think he was also trying to establish himself in the community. So because he knew what he wanted to do, he wanted to take the place over and stay there and raise the kids. So I think he was willing to give that up and just, let people assume that. See, there was kind of, remember the weird Twilight Zone thing where even when you found out as a fan, well, you don't remember before most people were smart, but there was a time before most people were smart when you found out as a fan that something wasn't a guy's real name, like when you found out the Mongolian Stomper's real name was Archie.
That's a good
Seriously.
example, yeah.
Yeah, well, and we found that out simply because, to be honest, in Tennessee, I'm probably the first fan that knew in this territory that was the case, because a guy that sent me programs and pictures and stuff sent me a Canadian poster where his name was used because he was from Canada and he was Archie Goldie the Stomper, not the Mongolian Stomper. So anyway, but there was a weird thing, and other fans experienced it too, where if you found out that something was not a guy's real name, it still didn't mean what they were doing was fake. It just meant that they changed their name like the movie stars do, or like the rock and roll stars do, or like whatever the fuck, right? And Christine Jarrett actually had a great way of phrasing it, because she would, if she had to call in, if she had to refer to somebody that wasn't necessarily smart to the business, but if they were talking about anything from a doctor's or a medical report to a newspaper story, or somebody being admitted somewhere to the hospital, or getting a plane ticket or whatever, and she had to explain to them they had more than one name, she would say, well, his name is such and such, but his professional name is so-and-so. So, off the top of my head, Bobby Fulton, because this is not a secret, his real name is James Hines. He's had the family promotion up there. But if she would say, what you need to ask for James Hines, his professional name is Bobby Fulton, not like his working name or his gimmick name. She made it sound a little bigger than what it was, right? But anyway, the point is, you found out that these guys' real names were different, but that still didn't mean that what they were doing was bullshit. It depended on whether they'd convinced you that what they were doing was not bullshit. And it was interesting before everybody could just click on something and think, well, get the answer depending on the source, whether it be the right one or the wrong one, and just think they know everything just instantly. You had to figure these things out slowly. I will say, because when that guy named Archie stomped fucking Bob Armstrong square in the head with that big cowboy boot in the Louisville Gardens, and Bob sat up and instantly gushed blood 3 inches out of his fucking head 20 feet from me, I bought it because I didn't know there was such a thing as pre-blading back in those days. But so I don't care if his name is Archie or not. I'm not going to piss him off, and I'm certainly not going to make fun of his name.